Hi, welcome to the online version of Studies Weekly. This is going to be specific for Minnesota. If you have never used Studies Weekly online before, you're going to love it. And if you have, hopefully, this will show you a few new things that you may or may not have known. So if you'll go to studiesweekly.com, click the login button, and once you do, it will take you to this screen. Again, go to studiesweekly.com, click login, it'll take you to this screen. If you already have a subscription to Studies Weekly, you're using the newspaper version, but you don't have an online username and password yet, click down here where it says register teacher, and it'll ask you, what state you're in, what district, and then it'll identify the school, and it'll allow you to continue to build a username and a password. If you don't have a subscription and you just simply want to get in and see what studiesweekly.com is all about, please feel free to do that as well. You can use, for a username, use MNTeacher, and the password is DEMO, DEMO. Go ahead and click login here. And what you're going to notice is all of the different publications that we have available for the state of Minnesota, starting with kindergarten, getting all the way down to sixth grade. And we've got different publications. There's going to be social studies, science, character education. There's some election publications. There's even some math and a few other things. So this login gives you an idea of all the different publications that are available. So for today, we're just going to use a quick. We'll use a sample of fourth grade. So let me find that. So I'm going to click on Minnesota fourth grade. A couple things you're going to notice here is we've got all the weekly units laid out right here, starting in week 1. Going all the way down to week 28. And at the bottom here, and you'll be able to see this for all the different grades as well, but come down to the bottom, click on Standards Correlations. This is going to give you a quick view of the scope and sequence for the entire year. So you've got all the different weekly units. You can click on a particular standard, and it tells you, oh, sorry, my screen resolution needs to be a little bit updated. It'll tell you what that standard is, and also this standard is covered in these other weekly units as well. So that gives you a good idea of what Minnesota standards are covered. So again, coming back up here, now if you notice that your curriculum map is different than the way we have this laid out, you can easily change the order of this. You can simply just click and drag the weeks and put them in the order that you want to teach them in. The nice thing about Minnesota Studies Weekly is all of the students get their own login as well. So whatever order you move these weeks in, that's the order that the students will see them in when they log in. And so for today's example, we'll go into week number 7, early people in Minnesota. One of the things that you'll notice, now if you already are used to the newspaper version, one of the things you'll see is that we have every article that coincides exactly with what's in the newspaper version. We have it here online. So here's the first article, same images, all the same text, and then to go to the next article and the next article, they can do that. So going back to this first one, you pull this up on a smart board or projector and you simply click the play button and listen.
If you've ever stayed in a campground, perhaps you noticed burned logs, used matches, or candy wrappers left behind by other campers.
So what you noticed is our read aloud feature. Now this is amazing. This is not a robot voice, as you can tell. It's not Siri. We actually have paid voice actors that have read, every single one of our 40,000 plus articles in studiesweekly.com. And sometimes they're going to change their accents around, but they're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot more interesting to listen, but the students can actually have the articles read to them. They can hear how this is supposed to sound. This is really, really great, especially for the younger grades as they're learning their reading fluency. They can see that the word is highlighted as it's read, so they know that they read from left to right, from top to bottom. And then when they're done reading this article, they can simply click over, go to the next one, and click the play button.
Minnesota is full of history, and many people enjoy collecting bits and pieces of it.
Another feature that this is brand new, so if you have been using the online, this is brand new, but you can now highlight anything within the text. And as the student does this, you, the teacher, will be able to go up here and click highlights, and you can see what the students have highlighted and the notes that they've put. So I can come in here and I can highlight that if I want to. I can click the play button.
The most common artifacts that people find in Minnesota are arrowheads.
So I can play just that section, or I can add a note to this particular highlight if I want to, and I can save it or I can trash it, whatever I want to do. So in this particular case, I will just go ahead and get out of this. The other thing you'll notice is down here below each article is going to be these little leveled questions. So again, these little on-the-go assessment questions. So you can assign the easy, the moderate, or the hard, and the students can earn these coins as they go through and do this. And I'll talk about that coin system here in a minute. Now, as for the teacher, we've got some resources for you down here below. So you can see right here what standards are being covered in this particular weekly unit. I also have a lesson plan. So if you are at Sunday night and you haven't had the time to really plan out the next week's lesson, you've got a totally laid out lesson plan for you. So it's going to give you some recommended websites to give you additional information if you want to find out more things, some of the vocabulary words that are going to be gone over in this particular lesson. And then there's just, different integrated activities, for language arts, ask your students to write a 5-day diary in the voice of a migrating Paleo-Indian or something like that. And some of the materials you need for some of the activities, we've got Blackline Masters. So right here, you've got these are PDF, little printable assessments you can print these right out. So we've got a lot of available resources that are right here at your fingertips. All the content videos that are gonna go with this. This is, by the way, this is one of my favorite things about Studies Weekly, is we have tens of thousands of videos, images, and other primary source media in our primary source library. You can always see them here in content videos, or we're talking about pieces of the past. We're talking about arrowheads. So if I click bonus sources right here, I now have all of these different primary sources that are talking about arrowheads. And I've got a video of what's called flint napping. Raise your hand if you've ever heard of flint napping. I don't think many of you are raising your hand because this is a term that many people have not heard of, but this is how arrowheads were made. In fact, if you've watched the new version of Jungle Book, the one that just came out a year or two ago, you'll notice that Mowgli at a certain part goes through, picks up a couple rocks, and creates a couple of arrowheads. He's actually using the flint napping technique. So something you can show your kids. And below, we've got more leveled questions, these little on-the-go assessment questions. And then you've got all these different primary source media that you can interact with and talk to your kids about, so you can really dig deep and really study a lot more than just reading the article alone. Now, once you are done with the weekly unit, you can come up here. We've got tests. So you can click Edit Test. It's going to give you all the questions that are associated with this particular test or this particular weekly unit. If you don't like the question, you can edit it or delete it or add your own. Choose a question type. So say we're going to choose true, false. You create the question, select whether it's true or false, and add that question. And then when you're ready to have your kids take the test, whether they do this in class or at home, you simply click Activate, and now they can log in and take the test. And once they take the test, you click Test Scores, and this is going to grade most of the questions automatically. If it's a short answer or like an essay, it'll have a number 1 or however many questions that are short answer that you then need to go in and look at. But now you can sit down with each student individually right there on the screen, go over the questions, talk about which ones they got correct, which ones they got incorrect. If Abby, for example, says, hey, I really would like to get 100% on this, can I take it again? You can allow a retake. That's totally up to you. Adding your classes is very simple. You can either add them one at a time by click Add Student, but the easiest way to add your classes is once you've created your own account, you come up to this little gear icon, and you want to click Generate Student Registration Codes. Come over here and type in the number of students you have. Let's say I've got 18 students. Click Generate. Click OK. And what that did is it automatically downloaded this PDF of student registration codes for me. You print this out, cut it up, and give one to each of your kids. It says, have your parents or teacher help you sign up at studiesweekly.com/new student. They type this in. As soon as they do, all they then have to do is type in their name, create a username and a password, and boom, they're automatically going to be added to your list here. And then you can always hover your mouse over this. If they forget what their password is, you can even edit it, or whatever you need to do. So the last thing I want to show you up here is finding primary source media. You can search for any topic, social studies or science related, and you're going to find a wealth of primary source articles, images, and other videos that are going to be related to whatever you're going to search up. So I just searched up World War, and I apologize, my internet connection here. I'm in my house has been a little bit on and off today. So what you're going to notice is I've got 104 articles. There's all these media. I've got 140 videos, and click show all videos. I can watch a video on World War I, a video on Pearl Harbor. I've got all these things. I've got all these World War II images that I can look at. Again, you can search up any topic, social studies or science, and we've got a ton of stuff here. So I hope this quick overview has been helpful for you, and I really hope that you love what you see. If you do have any questions, you can email me. My email is dave.wilson, dave.wilson@studiesweekly.com. And I'd love to help you out in any way that I can. So thanks so much. You have a wonderful day.